Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Paulina was waiting tensely at the hospital's nurses' station. Paulina didn't have to wait long for her doctor. Aide reassured her. When Channel got there, she assured her mother that everything will work out. Paulina inquired, "Is that a promise?" "It's a pledge," Channel declared. After settling into the waiting room, the three of them started reading the morning paper. "Am I sensing a smile?" inquired Abe. "Just reading about how well things went on Martin Luther King Jr. Day," said Paulina. Channel exclaimed, "Mama, you were amazing." "As you always are, articulate and charming," Abe concurred. Paulina's smile vanished as her phone beeped. "The doctor can see me now," Paulina muttered. When Sarah came back with an armful of bags, Xander was at home working. Victoria was still asleep. Xander affirmed, holding up the baby monitor. Sarah revealed to Xander that she had gotten Burns' night materials. "I'm not sure I can wait," Xander expressed. Sarah questioned, "For what?" Xander clarified after a time that he had meant the feast. "So nice having someone else in the house who knows how to cook," commented Xander. Sarah forewarned, "You haven't had my meal yet." "All I'm trying to say is that it's just nice to have you here, cooking or not cooking," said Xander. Sarah remarked, "It's nice to be here." Sarah finished unpacking the groceries, and Xander announced that he would be bringing Victoria into the office with him once she had her nap. Sarah remarked, "I didn't know you had a meeting." Xander shrugged and claimed he wanted to check what was going on at the office. Sarah questioned, "You trust Chad, don't you?" "It's not that I don't trust Chad. He seems to be doing a bang-up job. It's just, when you're that close to everything, sometimes you miss the small things that help the bottom line," stated Xander. Sarah reminded Xander of what had transpired at Titan the last time he had been all business. Xander restated his claim to be a new person. Sarah expressed to Xander her belief in him. "Thank you for taking me at my word when you have absolutely no reason to. But I'm more motivated than ever to be a stand-up person. I mean, having a sweet little girl in my life, and you, it makes me want to be a better person. And to succeed. So I'm just looking to grow a legitimate business in legitimate ways," said Xander. Sarah grinned. Stefan and Ava discussed the low lunch attendance at the bistro. Stefan questioned, "Think bad word of mouth is finally killing us?" "I called Stephanie Johnson to do some PR," Ava replied. Ava informed Stephanie that the restaurant had gone from success to failure in a matter of hours, and that they needed her assistance to make things right. Stephanie remarked, "I was here on New Year's Eve, and it was a great party." When Ava brought up Stephanie's date, Stephanie clarified that Everett had taken over as the paper's new chief editor. And he also investigated the overdose of Holly Jonas, Ava stated. "The entire rationale behind that absurd raid," Stefan continued. Stephanie expressed her understanding of Ava and Stefan's annoyance. "How do we get everybody to forget, or even not give a damn that there was a raid in the first place?" Stefan inquired. In order to support the bistro, Stephanie suggested that Stefan and Ava include pictures from their New Year's Eve celebration on the website. Stephanie recommended that they remove remarks made about the raid from the website as well as maybe mention that you're considering a lawsuit against the Salem PD, Stephanie said. Stefan muttered, "Now that is an interesting idea." Stephanie also mentioned that they ought to advertise freebies and show frequent customers some love. Ava asked, "You think that's going to be enough?" Stephanie recommended that they discuss publicity with the newspaper. Stefan pointed out that Chad could assist and own the paper. "I'm going to go have a chat with Chad. I'm also going to stop by and see Gabby, so you two finish brainstorming," Stefan replied. Stefan assured Ava that he would see her later. Stefan turned around as he was about to leave, backed up, and gave Ava a kiss. "So, you two?" inquired Stephanie. "Yes, both of us," Ava answered. After reviewing Stephanie's PR strategy, Ava expressed her admiration for her efforts. Is being on call for emergencies a hindrance to Stephanie's social life? Ava inquired. That's possible. But my work comes first, Stephanie answered. Ava inquired if Stephanie frequented the pub with a knowing expression. Stephanie said, I'm sorry, where are we going with this? Ava answered, a little sleepover with Harris. Stephanie acknowledged her error and expressed her sincere apologies. Ava gave a nod of approval. Perhaps not ideal for me, Ava remarked. Ava admitted that, while using the kiss as justification, she had actually broken up with Harris because she had been having an extramarital affair with Stefan. Stephanie remarked, that is none of my business. And what happened between you and Harris is none of mine. Not anymore. So you can have him if you want him, Ava replied. Stephanie expressed her disinterest in Harris. Stephanie asked, so, what do you say you, and I get back to business? Everett questioned Chad about his story regarding the mayor at The Spectator. I think the mayor is going to be very happy, remarked Chad. She's an incredible lady, and what she's done for the city is so impressive, added Everett. Chad concurred. Upon Chad's questioning, Everett's phone beeped with a notification regarding the drug expose. Everett yelled, mug shots of all the drug dealers. Chad opened the pictures on his desktop. Everett remarked, I'm surprised your brother's not there. Since the failed raid, I didn't really expect to see him, remarked Chad. Everett was curious as to whether someone had alerted Stefan to the raid. Shaking his head, Chad answered, it's possible. If Everett had enough for a tale, Chad questioned. Everett nodded, saying he was near, and that they should be the ones to solve the case. Chad and Everett greeted their small coworker with great enthusiasm when Xander and Victoria arrived. What a gorgeous kid, Everett exclaimed. Chad chuckled. Yeah, takes after her mom. Fortunately, Xander laughed and continued. When Chad inquired as to why Xander had stopped by, Xander replied that he had been nearby. Chad inquired, have you seen the latest edition? I haven't had a chance to yet, Xander acknowledged. After Chad gave Xander his laptop, Xander read the article and gave Everett some kudos for his efforts. Speaking of sponsorship opportunities, I have another one, replied Chad. Wendy's concept for a geocaching scavenger hunt was shared by Chad with Xander. If it's already in the works, why do we need to throw money at it? Sounds like a bad call to me, replied Xander. Chad questioned Xander about whether or not he had just dropped by to ruin a chance for positive publicity. I'm here to put the kibosh on wasting money. I mean 2 major sponsorships in less than a month, stated Xander. Xander countered that it looked pathetic. Chad retorted, I see it as a chance for community relations. I see it as pandering for respectability. And since both of you seem to think there are no financial constraints to be adhered to, let's go over some numbers, shall we? Replied Xander. Chad inquired whether Xander's sole purpose for visiting was to give them a financial responsibility speech. Xander clarified that he was seeking information regarding recent expenses. Everett said he had used the $5,000 withdrawal to reimburse informants when Xander questioned about it. Xander laughed at how much. Leo jumped into the office, making a big deal out of Victoria. Victoria, I want you to know that Lady Whistleblower will never write an unkind word about you because you are just too darn cute, remarked Leo. Leo expressed his happiness about returning to work. Xander grinned and said that one thing he appreciated about Leo was that he contributed money to the publication. Leo gave Xander a thank you. Liam received compliments on his MLK Day column from Everett, Chad, and Xander. Wow, thank you. All of you. It is very gratifying, not to mention ego-boosting, to be appreciated not only for my extraordinary sense of humor and quick wit, added Leo. You can add Dan Goodwriter to that list, Chad replied. Leo smiled. Xander inquired, what have you got for us today? Leo said that he had located the phone of Councilman Fields. Leo pulled out the phone and remarked, and since old guys don't believe in passcodes, take a peek. The picture on the phone made the men all sigh. While Xander contended that rumors sold newspapers, Everett pointed out that the individuals in the picture were willing adults. Xander asked Chad, "Unless we're getting an infusion of Demira cash?" Chad retorted, "How about Kyriakis cash?" Stefan entered the space. Stefan questioned, "What the hell did I just walk into?" When Chad questioned Stefan about his presence, Stefan requested a private conversation with him. Stefan asked Chad for assistance after they left the room and entered the corridor. Stefan pointed out that because of the names Demira and Vitali, the bistro had been unfairly singled out during the narcotics busts. Chad said the press was not undeserved. Chad was requested to review the facts by Stefan. The cops found nothing illegal or incriminating in that ill-advised little venture of theirs. But just the slightest mention of a raid at the bistro, "It kills us," remarked Stefan. "Holly had overdosed on the loading docks," Chad reminded Stefan. "We have not demonstrated any guilt," Stefan retorted. Stefan inquired as to whether Chad thought he was lying. Chad said, "I don't know what to believe." Stefan brought up the incident in which Chad was suspected of being the necktie killer. "That was immaterial," Chad said. "You were completely innocent. Yet that almost ruined your life," Stefan said. Everett watched over Leo in the office while he typed out the blind article on the councilman. Chad came back by himself. Everett questioned, "He wants us to kill the story, right?" "He asked us to keep the bistro out of it," Chad acknowledged. Xander questioned, "You said no, right?" According to Everett, the location of Holly's overdose was important to the narrative. "That will also be eliminated," Chad declared. Everett was taken aback. "We have plenty without it. There's no point in vilifying Stefan if he is innocent. So we'll go with the arrest and the raid," Chad countered. Everett was curious as to what Stefan had said to Chad. Chad restated that Holly's OD and the bistro were no longer included in the story. "Not only is that outrageous, it is unfair to Holly Jonas. It is unfair to every single victim of the people who are perpetrating this. How can you not see this?" Everett said. Chad retorted, "How can you not see that I call the shots?" Everett was urged to return to work by Chad. Victoria burst into tears. Chad said to Xander, "And you? Stay in your own lane from now on." After gathering Victoria, Xander glared at Chad and turned to go. Everett declared, "This is an attack on the integrity of this paper." Chad snarled, "Do what you have to do." Startled, Everett gave an affirmative nod. "I will," replied Everett. Stefan was running errands when he came back to the bistro, where he saw Ava and Stephanie shaking hands on their agreement. Stefan declared that Chad had consented to remove all reference to the bistro from the newspaper's article about the drug trade in Salem. "That is a huge help. I will get the budget and proposal ready," Stephanie replied. Stephanie nodded and left as Ava and Stefan shared a kiss. "Gabby is back in her cell and keeping her ears open for anything we might want to hear," Stefan stated. Stefan informed Ava that Lucas had been beaten up by Clyde's guys at the prison because they thought he had turned on them to the authorities. "So believe me when I say Lucas is going to want to eliminate Weston by any means necessary," Stefan said. "Perhaps he will," Ava remarked. Stefan said that he had disclosed his fictitious relationship with Ava to Gabby. "She doesn't love the idea, but she says it's good cover as long as we don't take it too far," Stefan stated. Stefan smiled, and Ava laughed, saying, "Your wife doesn't trust me." Stefan retorted, "Not for a minute, but she does trust me." Ava sighed as she listened to her voicemail. "That was Rafe, and he wants us down at the station," Ava responded. Following their appointment with the physician, Paulina, Abe, and Channel went back to the waiting area to wait for Paulina's pain medication to be filled. "I could tell that you didn't really like Dr. Siegel. So maybe we could look into getting you another endocrinologist and getting a second opinion," Channel said. Paulina groaned as she realized the outcome was obvious. "I forgive Dr. Siegel for not being warm and fuzzy. Her only obligation is to be honest with her patients and to offer the best treatments available," stated Paulina. Abby mumbled, "She could have been a little more understanding." Paulina emphasized that she wanted to focus on recovering. I pretty much expected I was going to get this diagnosis. And because I've been doing a lot of reading on the different types of cancers and all the amazing, advanced treatments, I'm ready to do whatever I have to do to get cured, Paulina stated. And we are ready to do whatever we have to do to help you through this, Abe responded. Paulina acknowledged that her fear of receiving a cancer diagnosis had been real. But now that I know that it is cancer, well, strangely enough, I'm actually feeling stronger and hopeful, said Paulina. Paulina expressed her relief at having her husband and daughter by her side while crying. Paulina's hands were put in Abe's. Sweetheart, we are going to go through this together. As a family, stated Abe. Whispering, I am so proud of you, Mama. Channel gave Paulina a hug. As Channel went to see about the medication, Paulina inquired as to whether Abe had talked to Nicole. I showed her our affection as she boarded the aircraft, Abe affirmed. I am praying for Holly, and I'm praying for her mama too, added Paulina. Channel called Johnny and informed him about Paulina's diagnosis while she waited for an update at the nurse's station. Channel remarked, Johnny, I really need you. Sarah inquired as Channel was hanging up the phone. Sarah was informed by Channel that Paulina's biopsy had verified the diagnosis of thyroid carcinoma. I'm really sorry, Sarah expressed. Channel said, Mama, she's being really brave. I'm just really scared. Sarah inquired as to if she might be of any assistance. Sarah was urged by Channel to speak with Paulina and reassure her. Sarah took Paulina, Abe, and Channel to a quiet waiting area where they discussed Paulina's case after going over her patient file. Dr. Siegel is known for her medical skills, not so much her interpersonal ones, Sarah stated. Paulina nodded and said that she liked how straightforward Dr. Siegel's explanation was. I just wanted to let you know that Dr. Evans or any other psychiatrist in this hospital will be more than happy to help you through this, Sarah responded. Paulina promised to remember that. Sarah acknowledged, nodding, that receiving a cancer diagnosis was distressing no matter how serious the disease was. Paulina acknowledged that she had studied her type of cancer. Just make sure the websites you're checking are reputable, Sarah said. I have exercised caution in that regard, Paulina reassured Sarah. Sarah verified that a thyroidectomy would be necessary for Paulina. You can live a very full, long life without a thyroid, as long as you take the medication to replace the hormones that your body is no longer producing, Sarah said. Paulina acknowledged that she was relieved that there was still hope for her cancer. And there may be some unforeseen complications, but other than that, it is a pretty straightforward procedure, Sarah stated. Paulina inquired about the difficulties. Sarah clarified that Paulina's symptoms were typical and that the cancer had not progressed to any of her lymph nodes. I want to get the surgery scheduled as quickly as possible, stated Paulina. Sarah assured her that Paulina would only need to spend a day or two in the hospital and that she could arrange the surgery for that week. Once you've healed from surgery, your doctor will decide if you need any additional treatment, Sarah explained. Paulina gave a nod. Paulina inquired, what is the survival rate for thyroid cancer? Sarah clarified that this particular form of cancer was highly treatable and curable. I believe the 5-year survival rate is over 90%, Sarah stated. Paulina grinned. Paulina exclaimed, I like those odds. Paulina inquired as to if Sarah would be her doctor when Sarah asked if she had any further questions. Though Sarah expressed her gratitude, she thought Paulina would benefit more from seeing an endocrinologist. Paulina was informed by Sarah that she was there to help if needed during her treatment. Paulina was questioned by Abe if Sarah felt better when she went back to work. I am a very lucky woman to have 2 of the best people I know by my side. Because we have got this, don't we? Replied Paulina. Abe laughed. We've got this. Paulina gave Chanel and Abe hugs. Paulina let her fear show, her face veiled from those closest to her. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.